This is Bryce the Fallen, and this is my video on why I would rather buy 1 million copies of Battlefield 1 if I could, if that'd be even possible. But, why buy 1 million copies of Battlefield 1 instead of look at a copy of Infinite Warfare? And I know people will probably it's not like a lot of people are gonna see this probably, but I know a lot of people get pissed. But the thing I like about Battlefield is it's all around, like, all sorts of military vehicles and, driving armored cars, flying jets, coordination with your team, and they always stayed either in the past or modern times. Now, I did like COD, from the big red one to Call of Duty 3 to even the first Black Ops, but once they start getting more and more futuristic, I'm like, I don't need to play this anymore. I can, if I wanted to play something that futuristic or whatever, keep getting into the future, I might as well just play Halo Online or whatever, even though I don't play Halo, but I'm just saying that's what it would be like. So that's why I like Battlefield. They stay modern and stay true to what it is. I mean, like I said, you used to like Call of Duty, keep getting into the future. Battlefield 1 seems like it'd be really great, because recently people have been talking about, hey, go back in the past, like for shooting games, go back in the past, do maybe World War I or World War II again. And Battlefield 1 is doing that, and it looks really great. I do a lot of research on World War I and II because a lot of my older generation families were in World War I and II, or a lot of the older generation of my family. They were in World War II, Vietnam, World War I. So like my great grandpa was World War I. My grandpa's, it's kind of confusing. So my grandpa's grandpa, let's say, was in World War I. My grandpa's dad was in World War II. My grandpa was gonna go to Vietnam. He was assigned there, but it was already, he had to get surgery or something. He was in the hospital, so he couldn't serve or whatever. And then my grandpa's brother, or my great uncle or whatever, Danny, I think went to Vietnam for a little bit. So I have a long history of, and I think there's more people before that too, long history of military enlistments. So I always thought it was really cool to look into all this stuff of that, like the Lost Battalion, and that's World War I, and the fall of Hitler, stuff like that, just all that cool stuff. And what I hope they do in Battlefield 1 is when they do the campaign, start off with the assassination of Franz Ferdinand. He was assassinated June 28th, 1914. That sparked World War I. But so that's the reason why I'd rather buy Battlefield 1, because they're doing what people have been wanting from what I've recently noticed, like go back in the past or whatever, because maybe they want to see what a new generation of consoles could do with the past. And I really like the past ones. When you're freaking every single year for COD, when you're just milking money, and if you've seen the amount of dislikes Infinite Warfare has, I don't even know if I disliked it. I think I just watched it and quit, because I usually just like videos or not. I think that's how I do it. Shit, I'm new to this game, by the way. But Battlefield 1, I don't know, it looks better than Call of Duty. You don't have to go to the future to be better. You can go to the past and be better. That's what Battlefield 1 is doing. And it has a long history of, like, weapon advancements and vehicle advancements. Like, for all the people that might hate on me for saying it if this even got that many views, which it wouldn't, but let's say it did. The people who would hate on me, like maybe COD players, they wouldn't really have much of the stuff they have in their games without the Great Wars, which is World War I, World War II. Because World War I and World War II didn't create, you know, like guns. They advanced in it. Like the Zeppelin was one of the first forms of like weaponized balloons. That's what it was. It was used for scouting and bombing. And one of the first turrets was the French one, and this is what I mean by advancements, is it was not that good. I think it had very little time of shooting, like very little shooting time, and you couldn't really, you know, do much with it because it'd either overheat or jam if you didn't know how to use it right, if what I recall correctly. Then there's of course the mustard gas, which they used in World War I, and actually the first real gas masks were used in World War I, but they were more of just the people, I think it was United States or the Allies, I mean, that first did it. Once they realized mustard gas was a thing, they used the first gas mask really that they used was just a cloth on their mouth and goggles. Like that's what the first gas mask was, and then the Germans decided to evolve that. I might be mixing it up. I'm not really good at talking, but so most of the stuff that you would see in COD today or whatever, you wouldn't have some of that without World War I and World War II. So I just think I like the old CODs. I'm not gonna say I just hate COD, all of it. Like even Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2. I didn't mind that, that was modern. But when they just keep going into the future, there are certain games that work in the future really well. And to me, COD isn't one of them, and apparently to a lot of other people. So I know that thing with Battlefield 4 when it first came out, you pre-order, like people pre-ordered it, got pissed because you know, let's just say it sucked. Like a lot of people could barely even play it. But I might just pre-order Battlefield 1 anyways. If there's something that I'm interested in, especially like this or whatever, I just pre-order it. And if it's like Battlefield 4, they end up fixing it anyways. Cause I played Battlefield 4 on my 360 when I got it, like a year or two after it came out, and it worked fine. Like, but I think they were fixing it. So, but I think they'd learned from their mistakes. But that is kind of a mixed babbling of why I love Battlefield and not COD. And I really would, the title of the video would be true if I could, but I can't.